All right, I can tell we've got some Kahoot experts already in the audience today. Those who have done Kahoot before, we like to make this kind of a fun little game at the end. Here for our technical conference, this is mostly going to be key points from today's lectures. So some takeaways. If you've been here and paying attention, it's fair game for everybody. If you like to have the general micro knowledge training, we'll do that one usually in our fall conference for our regional meeting. So certainly hope to see you all there as well. So this one's going to be pretty short, but hopefully you find this useful to reinforce our points for today. If you've never done Kahoot before, you can go to the website up top or scan the QR code and put in any name you want. We've got some very creative ones. Salmonelli, I think, is my new favorite on here. Lots of great names. You can use any name that you want. If you haven't played this before, a reminder that the faster you answer, the more points you get. And the more questions you answer in a row, the more points you get. So you get to be on fire with your streak. There is, you can emote all you want. There's also a time limit for how long we have between questions. I'll talk a little bit as we go between them just to reinforce some key points, but also keep in mind that as we're going through, we'll have a winner coming up towards the very end, and they will be crowned as the one who paid the most attention today. Also, if you signed up, please answer because the faster everyone answers, the faster we can go to the next question. Here we go. The suspense.
Oh, thanks.
And we've got music. We've got music here.
This goes well. This should get away from reflectors.
Right. Fantastic. Well, great job, everyone. Remember, Nick Zumwald, we are so very pleased to have him here with us. Even on day 29, he's still doing a fantastic job. Please join me in thanking Nick for putting all of this together and coordinating and helping us go today. Thank you, Nick. Our top scorer, Megan S., has the fastest fingers. All right, you guys are doing good. They are going to get harder from here. But just a reminder, a plug-in, certainly consider applying for this really great opportunity, the chance to work with colleagues and to brainstorm on key topics. What matters to clinical microbiology? What do you want to hear more about? What kind of content should we be bringing to these meetings? You'll have the opportunity to contribute to all of those things. So if you're interested, we talked before, talk with Nick. I didn't know you could just use pictures. This is fantastic. I'm going to say the bacteria culture plate is in first place with 1,889 points. Good. We had a lot of people paying attention for this. Yeah, 1 in 3. I heard that number this morning, and that was, I thought, really profound to think how often sepsis is associated with mortality in our hospital systems, and so why this is such an important topic for us to talk about today, and why it's so important for us to continue to try to improve our methods to help address this major need. Culture plate is still in the first place. Ooh, I stumped you guys. I can't believe it. So the national average is 3%, that most labs are trying to beat 3%. And the fact that Dan's lab, gotta give you guys huge round of applause. To get down to 1% is amazing. In any lab, if you're working in that 1% range, that is fantastic. That is really, really great. I've seen a lot of facilities struggle at that 3% mark, especially when we're having the different things with the emergency department. So you might be trying to beat Dan now, but certainly being under 3% is still pretty good too. JS moves into the lead. So we got to throw in a plug and a reminder about select agents. Select agents are certainly going to be concerned in our blood cultures as we're thinking through these. If it is a slow grower, especially not growing after 48 hours on blood auger, that should be a major red flag to start thinking about your select agents. Move this to a biosafety cabinet. We're unfortunately seeing the vast majority of select agents identified in Wisconsin are still going to MALDI first before that is kicking in, that we need to be taking a step back. Don't put it on the MALDI because that is a potential exposure source for a lab-acquired infection. In this particular case, that was Brucella, which is not actually a select agent anymore. So if you remember from last year's conference, it got taken off the federal select agent program's list of select agents, not because it's less dangerous than it was a year ago, but simply more associated likely with the amount of paperwork associated. So if you get a Brucella, still treat it as a select agent. You can still send it to the state lab. We can do confirmatory testing on this and get your final ID for it without you having to take additional risks in your lab for a lab-acquired infection from this pathogen. HP pulls into the front. All right, so the manufacturer claim is 80% or more that it can reduce your contamination rates by 80% or more. Really quite stark, but I think we had some wonderful discussion today about a lot of different steps that you can take to help reduce contamination rates, from staff training and good practices and procedures, diversion devices, as well as those extra throwaway tubes can all help here. Back to JS. All right, we got most people getting that one right. Yeah, the antimicrobial stewardship, of course, is to help prevent overuse of antibiotics, and on average, it reduces at about 34% was the number that we heard earlier today. So really fantastic to have our pharmacists out here joining us and adding to that conversation about how the lab is working with pharmacy and what methods we're using, how that's being useful for them. Where's the coup comes into first place. Sepsis specific here. Well done, well done. You heard that number a couple of times. It really stark impact. That speed to antibiotics is so incredibly valuable, and it's so exciting to see these new technologies that come out, not only for faster ID, we can at least get to gram-negative, gram-positive faster, but the early AST testing can have a pretty big impact on overall morbidity and mortality in our patients. Still close here. Salem has the highest answer streak of 6. Good job, Salem. I think you guys got this one pretty fast. I mean, this is pretty obvious, but I think just to bring those points back home to the end of our day of why is it so useful to reduce our contamination rates, that really has so many impacts, not only to the patient, but to the hospital, to antimicrobial stewardship as a whole. All of these things are impacted. All right, this is going a little too fast, but we are to our last question here. So move as fast as you can, try to get your last points, and see if you can knock anyone off their top 3 spots here. A little unfair, we had a breakout session, but I think you guys still did fantastic here. Great talk by Nate Letterbohr as we learned about AI and other different technologies coming through. While AI is fast evolving, we don't have a lot of FDA-approved options just yet. So excited to see what happens in the future. All right, drum roll. Who is our top winner? Our podium. Where's the vine? Bacteria plate. Number 1. Where's the coup? All right. Who is Where's the coup? Raise your hand. It's one of these 2. Congratulations, great job for paying attention and being involved and connected today. I gotta say, this is one of our best conversation groups. You guys have been speaking up and sharing your experiences from what you've learned in your own labs, asking questions from this great opportunity to network with your peers and learn about best practices. So please continue to use that time afterwards to get to know each other, stay connected, and think of our WCLN listserv that you can continue to ask questions from this group on our email listserv as things come up. So just a reminder, it doesn't just end today. All right, I don't know what the rewards are. Maybe that's a commercial thing. Oh, this could be a whole game board. Okay, in the future we'll have to do some more. I've not clicked that button before. Congratulations, you won a spring tree. I'm just gonna roll this out. We're just gonna ride with it for a moment. Hooray. All right, thank you everybody.